Hello, this is a video response to your video commentary about monetary reform and the gold standard, which I thought you did an excellent job explaining your point of view. And first off, I agree with some of what you say, and then I also, on the other hand, think it's debatable, because I think if the gold standard is handled right, it can really help the economy, depending on whether it's handled right or not. I think you run into the problems of who is controlling the gold standard, just like right now, who is controlling the fiat money. And it's been a couple years or more that I've started to read about the money supply and the Federal Reserve and things like that. I think a lot of people have, due to people like Ron Paul. After watching your video, I thought I wanted to respond by written response and video response. And also, after watching your video, or like right before it, I was watching this video, which is The Secrets of Oz, where they talked about the book of The Wizard of Oz, which actually they thought contained monetary reform solutions embedded in the story, which it's pretty compelling what they said. But nonetheless, another thing that was interesting about this is I'm an Alex Jones listener, and if you know a little bit about Alex Jones and the GCN network, I think it's the GCN network. The GCN network is owned by Ted Anderson of Midas Resources, I think. So it's interesting that I bought this off of Alex's website, Infowars.com, and this does not endorse the gold standard, but yet offers solutions with monetary reform. So I think that in of itself is kind of interesting. And when I saw your video, especially after watching the Secrets of Oz video, I don't know if I'm right to say this, but what your point of view, I think, was kind of like the populist view of money. And again, I got that from watching this. It's probably since I just watched it that's fresh in my mind. But getting back to your video, if there was to be a gold standard and nobody controlled that gold standard, in other words, no one was able to monopolize it and say that you had to pay in gold, I think perhaps it would work. Your issue about the gold standard being too confining, and in that you can't tie an infinitely growing economy to a finite commodity, I can see that as well. However, I may have, I guess, a disagreement on that. But one thing I think we can both agree on is if it's not so much important whether a currency is commodity backed, the big issue may be, and again that was kind of pointed out in this, and I agree with it, the big issue might be who's issuing the money and who's controlling the money. And in the United States, it being the Federal Reserve, and it's across the world, it's central banks as well making fiat money. And I noticed in some of your commentary, I thought you were saying that fiat money isn't as worthless as some say. But whether it's commodity backed or not, you'll have to agree that who issues the money is important, because the entity who issues the money is the one who can inflate the money. And although money does still represent payment for your labor, I think anybody would have to admit that the money does